Now, let me guess. The man of the house needs a second car so the little lady can go to the garden club while he plays gin rummy with the boys, huh?
Oh, actually, we need a car so we can go rock climbing.
Rock climbing? Why would anybody go climb a rock?
You have to think about it.
Yeah, what's to think about? I mean, you told me you liked it. You asked me 10,000 questions. I answered every single one of them. You drove it. You love it. What more do you need to know?
We gotta sell 400 cars. How am I gonna sell 400 cars?
Make them drive the car. Make them touch it. Smell it. Get them excited. When they're excited, they pay more.
You're thinking, can I afford to buy a car like this? Huh, am I right? Seriously, Stan, you can't afford not to buy a car like this, and I'm going to make it easy on you.
Welcome to OUD with your host, M. Smith. We are back in studio, and it's time to OUD. Sometimes you find a car from a reputable seller that pops out as being undervalued, but you still need to dig deeper. And so P9 Registry Vid 705884, a Carrara White 2010 997.2 GT3 with PCCB, FAL, and heated front adaptive sports seats. So quick, efficient, and comfortable, and manual. It's priced at $107K in a market where the average price is $114K, and its MSRP is $5K above average. That's a depreciation of $29K versus the market's $17K, so miles are around average at 28.8K. Experian AutoCheck says one California owner, no accidents. Sounds even better. So let's pop the P9 Registry Current Spider app. This app tells us how many and shows all the cars actively on the market right now. 13. Well, that's not so many. 13. Well, that's not so many for a Carrara White. Cool thing about the Current Spider app is that it's available for free for P9 Basic subscribers, with all the vehicle build comps, a smart link to auction comps, and a spider link direct to the seller ad. That's pretty awesome. Looking at the seller, it says make an offer. Now you have to like that. Okay, so let's pull up the P9 Registry Valuation app, the only true market valuation tool for late model GT Turbo and limited edition Porsches. By the way, it's now what we use every day. We've replaced our internal tool. We just log in and use the P9 Registry app. After entering the mileage, we submit and let the black box do all the work. By the way, the P9 Registry valuation estimates change daily as new data is pulled in by the P9 Registry Spider. You can't get more current than this. After the results pop, we see that the car has 21% price to MSRP delta, while the market has a 13% delta, confirming what we found on the P9 vehicle page. Looking at the three basic valuation estimates, they're all around $118K, putting the car at around $11K under its market estimate. The statistical mileage adjustment drops an average of a little over $117K. These are good estimates using standardized methods utilized widely across the industry applied to real-time market data. But what we ultimately want to see is the P9 Registry CBA valuation, a proprietary valuation estimate which looks at a matrix of individual vehicle premiums and discounts and uses those to determine the value of the target vehicle. In this case, it's telling us that on a mileage adjusted basis, this car should be $115K. Now, the car has a roll bar, so there may be more to the story, but on the surface, this is the final 997 Turbo S Cabriolet was a very decent 530 horsepower, 3.8-liter twin turbo with 7-speed PDK. Yes, only PDK. Someone invariably asks about a manual, and that's unobtainium. With an average MSRP of $181K, this was not a cheap car. But today, the average market price to MSRP delta is negative 50%. That's right, they're half off now. P9 Vid 771373 is a 2012 in Carrara White with Espresso Luxor Beige full leather. Interestingly, only 4 cabs out of over 1,000 delivered to North America were built in this combination. That should add value. It was first spidered in August this year, so it's been around a few months. It's spidering for 87K, around 5K under the market, but its mileage is 41K, almost 13K above the market. 186K, around 4K above the market average. So it's selling for around 3% less than the market average, but with about 46% more miles. So inputting the required numbers to the P9 registry valuation tool, we crank out mileage adjusted valuation estimates all in around 91K, indicating this one may be a few thousand underpriced. Basically, its excess miles are being balanced out by its original MSRP, landing it in a little below but near the market average. But then there are always intangibles that don't necessarily show, which is why you need all the data in a single source, which is exactly what P9 Premium Service offers. So that said, we go to the Experian AutoCheck report where we find that even though it's a 2-owner, which is great, this one had an impact with moderate damage to the right front corner. That requires a manual price adjustment downward, and this one is over. If you are buying or selling or just tire kicking a high-end Porsche, you must subscribe to P9 Premium. There are so many resources available through P9 Premium that it's really hard to describe. Go to the P9 Registry feature log and you'll find all the latest updates, the time you'll save, the mistakes you won't make, the information you will have access to. It's all available right there, nowhere else. You cannot even begin to compare the value to the price of admission. Everyone knows you need the right tools for the job, sometimes just the one right tool, a real market valuation tool. The 991-911R is still a pretty hot commodity, certainly due to its limited number with only 323 delivered to North America and 991 built worldwide. Now, the great thing about the P9 Registry Daily Spider email is that it includes a smart link direct to the vehicle page for every car in the Spider, making it very easy to quickly access all the data on a vehicle with a single keystroke. This takes us to P9 Vid 161024, a 2016 911R in white with red stripes and leather interior in black and tarpan brown. It has the signature single mass flywheel and FAL, and an extended interior package and AC. First spidered by P9 Registry in 2017, prices have fallen since then, but recently they have taken a bit of a rise. This one is $350K in a market averaging $361K. Its MSRP at $137K over MSRP in a market that is $149K over MSRP. Not bad, it would seem. Now, white is by far the most common color for North America at 156 units. Using the P9 Registry search app, we can see that the next most common color was GT Silver Metallic at 78 units, exactly half the number of those built in white. Anyone can go to p9registry.com and use this app to find out how many were built of any model, right down to color, transmission, and options. Color aside, it's miles that matter, and that is where the statistical best fit model developed by CBA for the P9 Registry Valuation Toolkit shows its stuff. This one has 2,124 miles in a market averaging 780 miles. Looking at the valuation estimates, the average pure market value is around $362K, a little above market and far above the $350K ask. But the mileage adjustment knocks it back to a little under $347K. Now, taking into consideration the color, and this one is looking over. You can find the cars being discussed on this podcast on our Instagram at OverUnderdrive and on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to both. And if you subscribe to P9 Premium, you get full access to all the data used by OverUnderdrive to analyze specific cars on this podcast and their market comps. The 991G Turbo before everything Porsche went turbo. Porsche took the strange tact of introducing the 992 with the Turbo and Turbo S, followed by, yes, more turbo. More cowbell? But at least the next GT3 will be normally aspirated, we hear. So P9 Vid 5383113 is a double black coupe with $15,000 option code 468 carbon fiber wheels and a lot of other options, including exterior trim package and carbon fiber, factory aero kit, and FAL. It's a really nice looking car, nicely optioned, and it's priced like it is. At $23K over the market average of $167K, it's a $190K ask. Now, its MSRP was $250K, which is $40K over the market average. So while the market average has depreciated 20%, this one has depreciated almost 25%. Well, the higher the MSRP, the farther they fall. Even with that, though, it's still quite a bit above market, which requires further investigation. Is it over or under? Making the decision harder are the miles. This one has 1,948 miles when the market average is 10,406. Quite a difference up in this price range. So what does it all mean? First off, looking at the current Spider app for this model in a coupe is quite an undertaking. There are 71 991.2 Turbo S coupes on the market right now. That's quite a selection. Plenty of black cars, but few anywhere up near this price. Okay, so let's look at the P9 Registry Valuation Toolkit, specifically the proprietary CBA valuation, the one we rely upon most. Before adjusting for miles, this car is $183K, but still considerably over of $167K and about $7K under ask, which would make it over. But adjust for mileage and it pops to a little under $197K, making this one under. Hey, OUD listeners, a quick reminder. You can find the cars being discussed on this podcast on our Instagram Drive and on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to both. And if you join as a P9 Premium member, you get full access to all the data used by Underdrive to analyze specific cars on this podcast and their market comps. With daily updates on over 40,000 Porsches, there is no comp for P9 Registry. Let's wrap with the 997 GT2 Vid 678676. Black with 7,800 miles, asking $189K. It's one of 238 built for North America. It has a little lower than average MSRP at $199K, but with 7,800 miles, it's less than the 10K mileage. The car has been for sale since late July, but seems like a nice example. Not sure of the 997 GT2, always an underappreciated model as we have discussed in live auction blogs over the years, simply can't carry its weight or what. This one has had 4 owners according to the Experian Auto Check, but no accidents reported as of this date. Seems like a clean car, so let's throw it in the P9 Registry blender and see what comes out the other side. First, a look at the current Spider app. It's the lowest priced example on the market and again has below average miles. So over to the module. It's 10K under MSRP in a market asking a few K over MSRP on average. The base valuation estimates come in at 204K mileage adjusted. The proprietary CBA valuation, the one we're really interested in, comes in at 206K mileage. That's a 16K spread to ask. So unless there's something undisclosed about this one, it's under. Well, that's all, folks. Underdrive is done for this week. Check in next week for a fresh batch of OUD where we keep everyone honest with real market fresh takes. Find out what models we are thinking about and the cars that caught our eye on every new OUD podcast. Subscribe where you get them. And be sure to tell them you heard it on OUD. We're out.
This isn't some high-tech sports car. Tell you the truth, it doesn't even handle that great.